Wellspring, Calgary. This is a photograph of their facility, the Karma House, in the Bowness area. I think that would be called a. And the topic that I just took off of one of their brochures was a lifeline to cancer support.
I'd like to thank Stuart and Steve for inviting us here tonight. I'm Teresa Schwartz. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at Wellspring, Calgary. I also have with me tonight Anna Carnell, who is our Program Manager, who will also speak this evening. And we've invited John Railton, a prostate cancer survivor and a Wellspring member. He is also one of our facilitators and a volunteer, and so we're very happy to be here. And I can't help but also introduce Donna Zeminski is here, one of our wonderful volunteers, and is very active in our chaplain in residence program at Wellspring. So we're happy to be here, and again, thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to share a little bit about who we are and what we do. So the first question people often ask us is, why a Wellspring? You'll see there's 4 people in this picture. On the far left is a man named John Staffier. On the far right is Barb Cunnings-Versavel. Next to her is Rita Egizi, and her husband, Dr. Greg Lucier, who we often call the 4th founding member. Years ago, John was a cancer survivor himself, had received a tremendous amount of wonderful support at the Foothills Hospital and through Tom Baker. But when he was finished his treatment, John realized there was so much more to his journey, and he didn't know where to go and what to do next. He found out that Barb and Rita were also looking for alternatives after their treatment. What were they going to do with all this emotion, all these other feelings, and where were they going to go? So John discovered that there was Wellsprings down east. There was a model already started. And most of the Wellsprings run out of a big, beautiful home. And so he really appreciated the network, the knowledge that they had, the way that they were set up. So John made the decision that he was going to bring a Wellspring to Calgary. We originally opened in the Operation Eyesight building off of Parkdale Boulevard. And we were in the basement there, and it was a wonderful location. But as you're going to see, one of the things that we work really hard at is collaborations. And we were very, very fortunate in 2008. Karma Developers was looking for a way to honor Calgary and their 50th anniversary. So they decided they were going to build us this big, beautiful home. And so it went up as an extreme build in one day. They brought 300 employees from all over Canada and all over the United States to do the build. They are now known as Brookfield Properties, but at that time, because they were Karma, thus the name Wellspring Karma House. So the house, what's beautiful about it is it's community-based. As Stuart said, we are in the Montgomery-Bowness area. We offer any kind of support to any type of cancer at any point in the person's cancer journey. What makes us really unique is that we're there also for the caregivers, and we do not have any cost to the user. The only thing we ask people to do is to fill out a membership, and that membership allows us the opportunity to keep in touch with you, let you know when there's speakers coming up, lets you know when there's new programs. It allows us to then follow demographics and to be able to answer some of our questions for programming when we're trying to make decisions. So that's really the necessity of us having that membership. And as you know, memberships and numbers are really important when we're trying to receive donations. Because we are totally funded through donations, we don't have any ongoing funding. We do receive some grant and corporate support, but most of our donations come from individuals. And currently it's about at $1.3 million to keep Wellspring operating. All of our programs are informed and based in evidence, and we work in partnership and not duplication. That's something that's really important to us. If someone's out there already providing the service, we don't want to duplicate that service, and a good example of that is Tom Baker has an incredible psychosocial department, so we don't offer any counseling. We do have our chaplain in residence who will meet with families and individuals once, but outside of that, we don't offer any individual counseling. And as I said, it's really, really important for us to work in collaboration with other organizations like Breast Cancer Supportive Care, Tom Baker Cancer, the oncologists, and it's just really, it just makes sure that we're not wasting funds and we're not duplicating service. I was hoping that through these pictures you might get a sense of a little bit about our building, but I will show you a DVD after Anna talks and just before John comes up. But as you can see, it looks like a home, a house, what most of us would consider upper bedrooms. On the upper level, on the far right-hand side, we have a lending library, so our members can come in and take out books for up to 3 weeks. If they need to extend that time, then we're happy to do that. I have a volunteer, well, we actually have 2 now, that oversee the library. In total, Wellspring has over 176 active volunteers in a variety of roles. So part of my role is to look after the center and to oversee the volunteers. And we have people from our front desk volunteers to practitioners offering energy sessions and reflexology. We have volunteers who are gardeners, people who have business backgrounds, HR consultants, we have accountants, we have database entry. So we really look to the volunteer. I meet with them and try to figure out where they're at in their lives and what they can present and what they'd like to do. And then we try to match them up with something that we have, or sometimes we create a new position that's going to meet their needs and also meet ours. Upstairs, what you also see is sort of a reception copier area, and that leads you into the office, to the library, and to our art room. We do have child minding. We offer that to our members. So if someone had a small child and couldn't partake in a program, would like to, and we can arrange childcare for them, then we do. We also have a beautiful area on the upper left, which we call our Waterfall Room, and has a fireplace and a waterfall. And that room allows us to then have meetings. Our tea group meets in there. We have our men's focus group sometimes meet in there. Anywhere from visualization meditation to a healing journey class. Anna's going to talk a lot about our programs, so I won't step into that area. But I want to give you a little sense about the house and who we are and what we offer. Our mission really is that no one has to face cancer alone. Our vision is that no one has to face cancer alone. And our mission is that Wellspring really is that warm and welcoming place. If we hear anything over and over, it's from our members when they walk through the door the first time. And that's that we kind of wrap our arms around people and help them find the way. We do have peer support volunteers, but their major role is to meet and listen, help you find your way and navigate your way through Wellspring. Our biggest hope is that you will come for a tour, find out a little bit about us, see a little bit about our programs, and see if there's anything that we can offer you. And now it's programs, and I'm going to turn that over to Anna, and she's going to share a little bit about our programs.
As Teresa says, thank you so much for inviting us here, Stuart, and we are really thrilled to be here. As the program manager, oh, I'm fine. Yeah. Oh, I see. This is pretty much what I do, that little tiny book, 3 times a year. So right now my mind actually is in September because that's what I'm planning at the moment. But in that book you will find lots and lots of ideas and thoughts and things that truly will help you find, you know, sort of a sense of groundedness and something to benefit you after all the treatments or through the treatments or even at the beginning. We do have people who go to the Tom Baker orientation and hear about Wellspring Calgary, and they come straight down the hill for a tour, grab some books, and really it's kind of up to each individual as to when they feel like they want to come. One of my favorite jobs, all of these programs, we ask people to evaluate them. And it sometimes feels like a repetitive job if you remember. What, I have to make another evaluation? But truly, I read every evaluation and every word. And it's the absolute best job I have, because I really get to find out what makes Wellspring click and why people are happy to go there. And the number one thing I hear from absolutely everybody is, I am no longer alone. So it doesn't really matter what programs we run. We run lots of, great programs that are informative and wonderful, but truly, people come for other people. And that's the biggest thing. I asked Becky, a member of one of the, a member and also a volunteer now, if I could share her story. She was a physician, and she said, I knew I could beat this. I was just going to take control and manage things and do it all myself, and I knew I could get back on track by myself, didn't need any help. And she says 2 years later, after trying to do it all by herself, and her colleagues kept saying, remember that place called Wellspring that physicians tell people about? She finally came after 2 years on a Saturday, knocked on the door hoping that somebody was there. And one of the first groups that she started going to was Tea Group. And she helps to facilitate Tea Group now. But she said that really she believes that when I finally came, I believe that it saved my life. So you don't have to do it all alone. Not everybody wants to share their story. But we do believe everybody needs a safe place where people already understand and where you can just be yourself. You can say anything and somebody's heard it before, and somebody will, it will be accepted. You might find this trust and sense of safety with your family, with your church, in a school group, in a community group, a Tom Baker group, a PCCN group, but you will also find that sense of safety and ease at Wellspring Calgary. Most of our programs are group programs, but there still is lots of time to sit back, relax, and hang out on your own if you like, or hang out with a buddy. Bring somebody for lunch and yak over the kitchen table, or sit in the library and read. One fellow treated us kind of like an office. He'd come in the morning, do his emails, take a nap on the couch, have lunch, do a program, have another nap, and go home. It was like his office. He brought a briefcase. Not every program suits everybody. Some people really, really like to talk and meet, and some people hate that. Some people love going to yoga. Some people just can't stand the thought of sitting still and meditating, and they prefer the exercise programs. Some people want to just be there for the friendship and a bit of fun. There's a lot of laughter. Some people want to learn everything there is to learn. And we try to provide a little bit of everything that we can. We learn all the time what people need, and the people I learn most from are the members. I'm always sitting around asking questions and trying to figure out what's needed. And when we started finally a men's group, because the men kept saying, look, we need a group that's just, for men. And we don't do exclusive groups. We generally, all programs are for everyone kind of thing. But we finally did start a men's group, and we thought, they want to do things. They want to go for sweat lodge. They want to go golfing. They want to go to the pub. And no, all the men really wanted to do is to sit in a room at Wellspring and talk, yak, just get together and meet. So we are quite happy to have that happen. And having said that, there is a men's group starting up as a program, and it's thanks to John. He's one of the leaders and one of the people who kind of pushed me the most to get this started. I should also say there's also a women's group that meets. So, there are moments where you just want to be with people who really have been there. We have a great program committee. I'm not the only one making all the decisions. I have really skilled people. Somebody from Tom Baker is on our committee, the University of Calgary, some members, a volunteer, representative, a facilitator representative, a really diverse group of people is on our program committee, and they are not afraid to tell me when things don't feel right or don't look right. So definitely cancer survivors amongst them too, so they're very, very careful to keep me on track. We also have a really terrific speaker committee. Our former manager wanted the Wellspring Calgary Speaker Series to be like the Massey Lectures of the cancer world. That was what she told me on my first day of work, and I kind of went, all right, I'll do my best. But what we really do have is an awesome ranging group of speakers. more and more each year, astonishing leaders from all around Calgary want to come and speak at Wellspring Calgary because they know they can reach out and talk to people. They really want to share their information. Programs really do provide a lot of basic core knowledge and skills. Sometimes it's the social thing, sometimes it's the spiritual thing that programs provide. Sometimes programs are kind of gateway things, you know, just something to get somebody in the doorway, and then after that you'll figure it out by yourselves. But just that first step is really, really hard. We know how hard it is to go in yet another organization, yet another door, yet another appointment. And once people get there, they're kind of like, oh, this is like home. So it feels really good to come, but we know how hard it is. So some of the programs, like we have a program this summer called fly fishing. And yeah, they really are going fly fishing down by the Bow River on June 28th. They get to do a little bit of casting in the water. They've been leading up to it for about 5 or 6 weeks. So some of the programs are there to pique interest and then just provide a place to meet with other people. Some of the programs are very much grassroots programs. Programs started because of members. So men's group is one of them, Tea group is one. There's a music jam starting on Friday, and today somebody said, do I have to register for the music jam? And actually, no, it's just a jam. Bring your guitar, sit and play, and it's actually not really what I'd call a program. It's just for fun. So some of it is just really a start because of the members. And what we always end up telling people, there's a lot of choice in that program, and the first day people see that, they think like, wow, where do I start? You'll figure it out. You'll just start with one thing, and that'll lead to another thing. There's a great group that's called Can't Survive a Try. Corey Fagan at TCR Sport Lab organizes a program every year where 8 or 10 people meet and they do a swim and a spin kind of exercise program, and then at the end of it they do a triathlon. And honestly, there's people who have never been in a swimming pool who by the end of it are doing a nice, comfortable, maybe a walking try, but they end up doing a try. Exercise, you probably hear over and over again how good exercise for you and how preventative, how exercise can truly reduce your risk of cancer. And the interesting part is we don't generally like to exercise alone. I don't know if you're any different than me, but I have an elliptical machine at home that mostly is a coat hanger and a clothes hanger. And once in a while I get on that alone, but really I'd rather go, you know, hang out with my buddies, go for a walk, go for a hike. There really is a lot more fun to be had if you're exercising with groups of people. Maybe it's the laughter, maybe it's that you're all sweating. I don't know what it is, but it's more fun together. A quote from one of our evaluations about that exercise program: were it not for my Monday evening cardio group, I would not have come out unscathed. Please continue to provide Wellspring services so others have a safe place to go and feel connected on their journey to a cancer-free and healthy lifestyle. I should say that the exercise facilitators, like all our facilitators, are truly astonishing experts. The knowledge transfer coming out of the University of Calgary, for instance, with the PhD students who are amazing and full of energy and just so full of fun, is astonishing. They're really, really great facilitators. You might enjoy the Tai Chi class. Maybe you're feeling really, really low energy. There's the Qigong class where you can do it sitting in a chair. You don't have to be doing high energy stuff. You can do exercise and meditate sitting down. There's a yoga class that some people ask me, well, what is restorative yoga? And I say, well, it's pretty much the closest thing you'll come to sleep without actually sleeping. And when you're just out of surgery and you can barely move and you're full of pain, honestly, that is the most relaxing, beneficial thing you can do to yourself, is to relax that deeply. We have the movement and meditation programs. We have lots of core programs like returning to work. It's not a how to return to work. Some people don't want to be going back to work. So this program is not just how to manage the legalities of it, but also, do I really want to? How to make those choices about work. Brain fog, everybody says they've got brain fog. It's very, very, very common. All the symptoms like forgetting words. Yeah, inability to multitask. These are very common symptoms, and it's a real thing. You sort of spend your life thinking, gee, am I going nuts, or what's the matter here? But truly, the fatigue that a body undergoes going through cancer and going through treatments is astonishing. So just dealing with that fatigue, yeah, it makes your brain work so hard. So that the fatigue is one of the hugest elements of brain fog. So we have a program that designed by Dr. Heather Palmer, where she basically has outlined coping mechanisms. And there's no deficiency in cognitive function. It's just the fatigue acting and making it very difficult. Healing Journey has been psychological research for 25 years gone on with Healing Journey, just to help people figure out how to manage the thoughts, how to manage all the worries, how to get to sleep at night. Money Matters is a brand new program that we have this year because, of course, finances have got to be on the top of the list of worries for people with cancer. So Money Matters is one of the few programs that's one-on-one. That's not a group program. You don't have to talk about your finances with a bunch of people listening. You will meet one-on-one with Megan Holub, who will lead you through what forms to fill out, make sure they get filled in right, make sure you're filling out the correct forms, whatever you need, she'll work you through. She'll even advocate for people who need some advocacy, so that's a great program. And the expressive arts programs, well, if you've never tried creative journaling, give it a whirl. They are the programs with the longest wait lists, so that should tell you something. And we have a program coming up in the fall called Writing is Good Medicine. Art is good medicine. Whether it's writing or drumming or music, it's more than just pleasant. It is deeply relaxing, deeply focused, lots of cognitive and lots of physical things going on, and it helps you deal with the spirituality and the emotional impacts of cancer. And then we have great caregiver programs, as Teresa mentioned. Some of them are very specifically for caregivers only. There's another program called Finding Sanctuary that we just started, just a monthly meeting for caregivers only. Teresa mentioned Thursdays with Bob. Some of them are just fun, cooking and nutrition, and really table to plate. You chop, you cut, you cook, and you're making a 5-course dinner at the Food for Care and Comfort. That's a great thing to go to with your spouse. And as I mentioned before, the speaker series, truly we have amazing leaders in Calgary coming to the speaker series. It is open to the public, so you can bring your colleagues, your neighbors, your acquaintances, bring everybody you possibly can to that speaker series, because it really is a great gateway to information and also a variety of stuff that is presented at Wellspring Calgary. And some of it's fun. There's a house music series that I do every single session. We have great bands come and play, and on June the 20th, Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, there's a handpan drummer, world famous, coming just sort of on the spur of the moment, spontaneously to Wellspring, because he's going to be drumming with Judy Atkinson on Friday night, so he's just going to stop over and do some drumming with us too on the Friday. So truly amazing people and an amazing resource, and we sure do hope to see you there. And yeah, introduce yourselves when you come, and Teresa and I will be there with the other, some of the other staff members and great volunteers. So the rest of this presentation is for Teresa.
Just a couple more slides, and then I'm going to turn it over to John. We just wanted to remind you that we do offer peer support. I know you guys do also. Our peer support volunteers are really trained to help you navigate your way through Wellspring and answer some of the questions that you need answered. We have peer support volunteers that are cancer survivors, but we also have peer support volunteers who are caregivers. So you can have that conversation caregiver to caregiver. We have young adult programs. We do have a beautiful lending library that I mentioned. We have child minding. Research is very important to us. so that we can share the knowledge and the experience that we have. We do offer some bereavement programs, and our energy sessions, you're able to come and sample 4 of them: healing touch, therapeutic touch, Reiki, and reflexology. So we'd like you to come and see if those make a difference, and then you can make a decision on what kind of modalities you might want to go out and experience in the community. So the thing I would love you to remember most is all of our programs and services are free. There is no charge. All we ask you to do is complete a membership, but the most important thing I'd love you to do is come out, come take a tour of the house. I can't explain what it's like until you see it. We have a lot of oncologists and nurses and people in the community that say, we send people to Wellspring, but until you actually see it, it's hard to understand how we offer all these amazing programs. One of the things Anna said, Anna shared with you, we offer probably in each program quarter over 40 programs, and we do that because we don't know where you're going to find your path. You're going to find something that's going to pique your interest, and then we hope that that's going to help you through your cancer journey. I think this Wellspring member said it best. I'm very grateful for Wellspring Calgary. It saved my life. When I was being treated for cancer, I lost my workplace, most of my community, my confidence, and my spirit. Wellspring has been a new home, a safe place for me to be where I can be cared for, comforted, supported, and I've been able to regain my sense of identity. I'm grateful beyond words. I wanted to thank you again for inviting us tonight. I'm going to show you just a really quick DVD, and then we're going to let John share his story. And we share the DVD because it gives you a sense of what the house looks like. And I think I can do this without any help. Let me see. Maybe not. I lied. So I am going to turn it over to your wonderful IT guy, and he's going to start the DVD. And then we're going to have John Railton come up and share a story from a member perspective.
I remember asking my family doctor, if you were me, would you be worried? And she said, yes.
What do I remember from the day of diagnosis? It's like the world stopped. And when he said everything will change, it did. And I think you have overwhelming fear.
The diagnosis of cancer doesn't come, in my case, instantly, but the final confirmation of my cancer diagnosis came back after I'd had my biopsy on my lymph nodes. At that point, I was sitting in the parking lot and it was sleeting. I got out of my car and I kicked the tires of my car. If somebody had seen me, they would probably seen I was demented.
Did they treat the cancer? Yes, they did. But the damage done to my body as it was ravaged by chemotherapy and radiotherapy meant that as I tried to get stronger and learn to walk again, my knees literally disintegrated, my shoulders disintegrated.
The treatment takes away everything that is joyful in your life.
Really doesn't prepare you for when the doctor says, I'm really sorry, but we got the results of your biopsy and you have breast cancer.
The muscle mass that I'd lost so quickly made me so weak that I wasn't able to walk around the block without holding onto my dad's hand.
So I read everything I could get my hands on people that had survived their cancer, that had lived a long time, looking for the clues for what it was they did that made a difference.
And I needed someone, I needed somewhere, and I'm not quite sure what it was at the time, but I knew I found it when I came to the Wellspring. I knew here was a place that I could just go and talk to people or not talk to people, sit, just enjoy time and space, and I'm not at home maudling on my own, and I'm not in the hospital feeling sorry for myself and feeling sick. I came here and I got energized. I walked in the doors, it was a good atmosphere, and when I walked out the doors, I felt better.
I found it a hard thing to kind of accept being, having crossed this line from being a person without cancer to a person with cancer. But coming through the doors, any sort of sense of unease or discomfort just diminished, and the place just felt good.
When you come to Wellspring, it starts to bring the joy back into your life, because you know that you're surrounded by people that if you're feeling weak, if you're feeling like you need to cry, if you're feeling anything you're feeling, the people here understand. Because I had an amazing support system, and I'm extremely lucky. I had somebody holding my hand through the whole thing, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people do this by themselves, which is terrible.
Wellspring offers a whole different world of being able to educate yourself on cancer and find out some of the resources. Talk to other people who've been through cancer. It's amazing how much that can help you. Get some tips. So it would have been a place I would have come to within days of being diagnosed if it had been opened at that time. But still, it was wonderful when I did find it, and just when it opened its doors a year after my treatment had finished.
I can take that, I'm a fighter. If anybody's going to have cancer, if anybody's going to have to put up with this, I'll do it, I'll take it, I'll take that, give it to me. I'd rather it was me than say one another member of my family or a friend. I can have that illness, yeah, I'll beat this illness, give it to me. My first thoughts was, I'm kind of shocked that it's not the alien, but if anyone's going to have it, I'll take that illness.
I say it's like when you're sick and your mom and you just want your mom to give you a hug. Wellspring's like that hug some days.
I think sometimes we don't understand by just moving along, humbly living our lives, that we can create a path for others to follow and inspire people. I don't think that was my original concept, and I know it wasn't. It was just that my passion has been to help make this journey easier for other people, and by creating a place where they can come and share with other people and learn from their journeys, and so we can all learn together and help each other.
That's a rare thing. There's not many places in the world where, or maybe I just hadn't found very many, where you can just be who you are, sick, well, crying, laughing, freaking out, weak, afraid, whatever, and everyone's cool with that here.
Yeah, I guess don't be afraid to take chances or try something new, Be open to some possibilities.
Wellspring is to me the creation of a safe haven for people to come and find the tools to heal themselves. It's a place of peace, calm, and hope. But it's also a place where we have a lot of fun, we have a lot of laughter, and a lot of hugs.
First thing I want you to remember, for those of you who want to, you're getting a lot of information here. The website is www.wellspringcalgary.ca, and if you go to that, you'll see some of what you've already seen. You'll have access to a whole lot of other material, but more importantly, you'll have access to the program listing. And then you can go in and you can look and see what interests you or what doesn't. Next. So there's a whole lot of activities, and here all I've chosen are the ones that are near and dear to my heart. I'm trained as a biologist. I've been in business as a consultant. I've worked in government. I've worked in associations. I've been a driven kind of guy, and about age 65, what do I get is prostate cancer. Just what I need, eh? Now I'm trying to figure out, am I going to work more? Am I not going to work more? What am I going to do? Am I going to be able to continue to look after my daughter, who's an invalid at age 35, at home in bed, or what's going to happen? And I found Wellspring. And the thing that I really took to was could we go back, please? The thing that I really took to was educate and exercise. I think that the reason that I look the way I do, I hope that's good, and the way that I can be as active as I am is partly due to the educate and exercise. It also helps that Lauren's really a gorgeous looking young lady who drives us like you wouldn't believe. It's almost like it's a truly an aerobic kind of exercise, but she's always emphasizing do it at your own speed, which is very important. So we even have fly fishing. If you asked my wife, she would say that it was healthy steps and the caregiver sessions where she can go in and discuss her dual caregiver role as mother and caregiver for our daughter, and as wife and caregiver for me. And I think it's been much harder on her than it has been on me, but that's because she's made it easier for me. So, well, the one important thing that next please, the Wellspring does for you is it feeds the body, the mind, and the spirit. And as I went through my business session, I still do work 2.5 days a week, but I also do a whole lot of other things now that I didn't do before. I think that I was really negating the necessity of growing in my mind and in my spirit. I was filling myself full of all sorts of information, but I wasn't feeding my spirit. And one thing that Wellspring does, next please, is do that. And this just happens to be a picture, if I remember correctly, at Sea Level Cirque, where we had climbed up. Everybody goes at their own pace. The leaders are either at the very end or at the very front, and we just go. And periodically, we're quiet. We don't talk to anybody for half an hour. You just walk with yourself, thinking about what you're seeing and what you're doing. Next, please. And the benefits of this, I happened to do 600 hours of research for Wellspring last year. I sort of take to research because I have a PhD in historical climate, paleoclimate they call it. But that aside, I did a little bit of research into nature and what does it do for you, because I'd ask all you cancer patients, why do you like being out in nature? Oh, I just like it. Oh, I feel much better when I'm out there. But what was really happening was they're getting higher levels of intracellular anti-cancer proteins. Their immune system's being boosted. They're increasing the number of killer cells in their bodies. They're reducing their stress, their depression. They have faster healing times and a less need for pain medication. It's not tremendously better, but it is better. It can be 2 to 3 days difference in staying in the hospital and getting out. And this has been shown by some studies by PhD-type dudes down in the States. So, and the heightened physical and mental energy that you get after having done something in the out of doors. Wellspring's a very quiet, next please. It's a very quiet place. I've always felt included. There's one-on-one talk with other fellow cancer fighters, and you talk in confidence. What you say at Wellspring stays at Wellspring. And that's one thing that we remind everybody every time that we have any kind of a session. Next, please. That's it. So what I found was that I could feed my mind by the ultimate road trip that we got Wellspring to develop, which is really a book club. When I went through Healing Journey, I got to level 3 and there was nothing for 2 or 3 years. And then we finally got enough people that we could go on and do levels 4 and 5. And after that, just like John Staffer said, I said, what more? And there were three other people with me who said, what more? So we proselytized people in Wellspring. We made a presentation to the program committee, and we got this group that sits down and looks at books like The 8 Habits of Love, The Buddha's Brain, what really is going on in your brain, both chemically and neurologically, and trying to relate that to what you're thinking of in your mind. So, needless to say, I'm a fan. I've benefited greatly from Wellspring, and now I'm trying to give back to it by doing some research for them, by facilitating groups, and by coming out like this and trying to talk to nice, friendly people. So thank you very much for your time, and remember, www.wellspringcalgary.ca.
Brochures at the back.
Brochures at the back, she tells me, so thank you very much.